G'day and welcome back to the channel. You can see here we've updated our spreads in game to align with our poker paste calculated SP spreads. So we'll see if that makes a difference. We're not obviously going to know within 5 or 10 matches, but we're going to get paired up against different opponents. So we'll hopefully see some of this different speed tiers kick in that we've changed. But we've got our first opponent, Daphne. So we see the Basque Legion, pretty meta team. Basque Legion, we've got the King Gambit, the Charizard, Sneasler, Garchomp, and the Whimsicott. So I think for our lead, we're best doing something like this, and then I'm not sure how effective. If we can get rid of the Sneasler, Meganium should be able to do okay. We've got the new speed updates, so we're going to be a bit faster now under Tailwind. It's just whether Dragonite. No, I'm going to go Meganium. I'm going to put my faith in Meganium. Oh, we already have Meganium. So let's lock that in. I reckon that's the right call. If we can navigate around the Sneasler, our Meganium should be able to clean up. And our lead gives us blocking for the Sneasler, but also going to have to try and evade these encoring Whimsicots. So there's the Charizard, there's the Whimsicott. So that's actually put them at a bit of a disadvantage because we could obviously just wave crash here. Even in the sun, I still think that would do big damage. But let's flip turn on the Charizard, and do we fake out or Dire Claw? I think we Dire Claw. Because if we fake out, they protect, we're in a bad position. Whereas if they protect Charizard or double protect, they've got lots of options. But yeah, at least this way, if they Mega Evolve and stay in, we can flip turn and immediately change the weather. That's my plan. Let's see if any of it comes to light. Because they could just as easy turn one Tailwind and absorb with the Focus Sash. But usually against Sneasler, you do something a little bit different. So we do see Charizard protect, and I wouldn't be surprised if Whimsicott also protects, but Whimsicott goes for the Tailwind. Right-o. Okay, so we also have to be mindful of the Solar Beam from Charizard. It is non-stab, but it is big damage. Unfortunately, we didn't get any of the... I mean, we could have doubled up on the Whimsicott then as well. They could have just as easily swapped out. I mean, we're still pretty quick, but I don't think we're quick enough to respond to... So let's get our Pelipper in, reset the rain, and we will close combat the Charizard. And the plan is here, we'll get to then proc our White Herb, which gets our Unburden. That's the plan. And then, yeah, if they try and go for a Solar Beam right now, we just obviously swap in the weather, so they'll be blocked up for a turn. So they just try to go for a bit of a Moonblast. Not going to do too much damage. We lose special attack. That in and of itself is enough to proc our White Herb. So now we're unburdened and we get to close combat. Didn't see that one coming. But I guess neither did they. Now we get to keep the defense falls. And there's the Solar Beam. So they did go for it, not realizing we had, Pelipper in the back. Not sure. But now that we know they've locked into Solar Beam, let's bring Mega Meganium out. We're not overly threatened by that Moonblast. But we'll try... We are unburdened, actually. Is this the time to nail? We want to try and take out their Charizard. They're locked into Solar Beam right now, so they won't get a choice with their Charizard. So now is our chance to strike. But unfortunately, the Tailwind is their advantage, but we get to Diaclaw. Come on, no status. What a absolute con job. But that's fine. It's a low probability for Diaclaw to proc stuff. But we're kind of just also baiting out their Tailwind a little bit. Because now we're not overly threatening their Charizard, but we ate a Solar Beam, I think better than most of the team. But we can fire back a Weather Ball, or we can just protect. They're going to Heat Wave, maybe Air Slash us. I'm actually not overly threatened. And let's Diaclaw, or... No. Let's... How many turns of rain? We've got 3 turns of rain. So I think this is our time to get Basculegion in. We can keep our Sneasler, try and fake out a little bit later. They're not likely to Heat Wave. They could just as easily swap their Charizard to try and bring Sun back in. Not quite sure what their strategy is. Just seems to be Whimsicott, Charizard, go. Because, yeah, they're staying in. So, yeah, Heat Wave's not going to do much. A Moonblast, a continual Moonblast isn't going to do much, but they're going to stick with it. Fairy on Fairy. Not doing much there. There's the Air Slash on our Basculegion, which we tank. So we get the Weather Ball off here and get rid of their Mega Charizard. So we now own the weather, which is good. I like that. I like it. Having domination. So now that the Charizard's on, they've also lost their Tailwind. So they're likely to lock into that this turn. So we've seen Moonblast and Tailwind from Whimsicott. So not much of an encore-y type of Whimsicott, it would seem. Alright, so there's the Sneasler. That's going to obviously threaten our Meganium big time. So they can't fake out our Basculegion because it's Ghost. We could swap into something, but I think we protect for a turn. And we could flip turn. We got 2 turns of rain left. Maybe we just Wave Crash. Try and see if we can get rid of the Sneasler. Because that then frees up Meganium to take the sweep. So if they go for a Fake Out and Tailwind here, they'd be in a pretty bad position. But let's see what they lock into. There's the Tailwind. They went straight for the Diaclaw, so they were eager to try and take out our Mega Meganium. So Wave Crash in the range should do 1-hit KO. We'll take a ton of recoil damage, but that's our Mega Meganium's free from Diaclaw threat. So let's see who else they had in the back. Another Basculegion. So this is where we fire off our Solar Beam. We protect our Basculegion and be thankful that we put our Jolly 32 nature on, because if it comes down to a Basculegion mirror, we at least know it's a 50-50 speed tie. But they've got Tailwind, so that would obviously beat us right now. So plan is to bring the Sneasler back in. Ideally threaten a Fake Out, but it'll most likely get KO'd. Because I can see them last respecting this slot. They go for Ice Fang. Alright, that does not do much damage. Maybe another... or a Giga Drain. Alright, so we get our Solar Beam off into their Basculegion, which we know is big damage. And Whimsicott's just merrily Giga Draining away. Oh, the Ice Fang flinched us. Oh, that is no good. All right, so rain's over. Let's bring the rain back. And let us protect for a turn while we set up our Tailwind. Yeah, I don't think I can risk. They're probably, probably might go for another Ice Fang. It seemed to work from last time. Why wouldn't you do it again? I don't know if they see or oversee Pelipper as a huge threat. But we'll protect. Try and see if they Ice Fang us again. And they did. So protect is well useful there. We see the Giga Drain come out. But we finally get our own Tailwind up. So let's see if this has turned the tides. So we've got 3. They've got 1 turn of Tailwind left. So we could swap into our Basculegion, eat the Ice Fang, which would not be ideal. I think we Weatherball the Whimsicott. And what were they doing? They were Giga Draining us. So let's Hurricane them back. Or we get rid of the Basculegion. I reckon we double into the Whimsicott this turn. So it is Encore. It was waiting for us to Tailwind, which is most unfortunate, because I think this Ice Fang might KO us, and we're going to be locked into our Tailwind now for 3 turns. So they were on the ball, but their Tailwind should end now, but they can just Tailwind again next turn, which is why we had to go for it. That's a bummer. So this is what we got. So let's lock into Last Respects. We'll go for the Basculegion. They're going to be forced to Tailwind, though, to try and tie with our Basculegion. We're both down 2 apiece, so 150 base power each. But yeah, having our Pelipper locked into Tailwind kind of sucks, but forces them to Tailwind next turn. So let's see what they decide to do. They could just as easily protect on their Basculegion. Unless they're locked into Ice Fang. Might not have been trying to gauge what items they have, but will at least Last Respects their Basculegion out of existence. So they've gone for a Giga Drain then. Fair enough. We're just going to keep Tailwinding. And they're just going to Giga Drain our Pelipper. Alright, that's a misplay on theirs, because we're locked into Last Respects, which they can Encore all they'd like. Does it show us the... No. Oh yeah, Encore. I've got 1 more turn of Encore left. And yeah, 150 base power Last Respects should take out a Whimsicott for sure. So I think that's a massive misplay on there, because they could have Giga Drained Basculegion out of existence. And then, or Tailwind, or like done a bunch of stuff. But they obviously chose, or might not be seeing what they see. But yeah, that takes the KO. They almost had us wrapped up then, but they gave us a bit of reprieve and let us kill their Basculegion. So appreciate that. Good game. Better luck next time. All right. Excellent. We're off to a roaring start towards our Masterball target. We will get there. But it was good you could see in that where we Tailwinded, our Pelipper was outspeeding Whimsicott, so it's advantageous against having that extra speed. But our new opponent loves bug Pokemon. There's a Heracross and a Cleaver and a Scizor, both Scyther evolutions. Then they've got Volcarona and Araquanid and a Whimsicott. So I don't think we do anything overly different to our normal lead. Except, maybe let's run Pelipper, because they don't have access to any fake out. Then we're going to be in the rain, and we want to hurricane all of these bugs. So we'll bring Dragonite. I think electric might be good here. We've got Electro Shot. Maybe Duraludon. There are a lot of defensive, or sorry, physical attackers over there, except maybe the Volcarona, which they'd be pretty ballsy to bring, I reckon, against a rain team. So the question is Basculegion. Yeah, Basculegion's always the correct choice. Like, even if you just pocket it till last and then Choice Scarf last respects, it's just devastating. So I'm expecting a Whimsicott lead with Mega Sizzle, Araquanid, Heracross. Okie dokie. So we are going to... I've got a plan. I'm going to see if this works out. So if we fake out the Whimsicott and... No, that doesn't work, or does it? We Tailwind. Because they're going to Tailwind at some point, whether it's this turn or next turn. And then this gives them absolute Encore spread. So they could Encore a Tailwind, or they could Encore our fake out. Stone Edge, we got the Focus Sash, so that's all good. Big crit. We hang on. Being bold with defense stats isn't going to protect us against that. So now we get the Tailwind up. So we've got speed control. Now we need to Diaclaw and Hurricane. So all effort on shutting this Whimsicott down, because I feel like if we can get rid of the Whimsicott, they're trying to do the same. They're trying to get rid of my Pelipper. It's just going to be who's going to be more successful, because they could straight up Tailwind here, which is fine. I'll be able to Diaclaw first. And then if Pelipper survives, and the only way Pelipper's surviving is if this Stone Edge misses. High horsepower. Okay, so they've pivoted. We've survived on Sneasler, a high horsepower from Heracross, and then we get Hurricane in the rain against Bug. So that'll do a one-hit KO. So we haven't lost anything left yet. We're still 4 Mons up, but it's Tailwind apiece. So let's see what they got in the back. Maybe Mega Sizzle. There's the Arachnoid. Righto. And the Volcarona. Wow, they were crazy. Alright, so yeah, we'll Diaclaw. What do we got in the back? We got Arculodon. No, we got Dragonite and Basculegion. So, I mean, our big one is to try and get rid of this Arachnoid. So, well, we could just split it. Let's Weatherball. Let's go 50-50. Arachnoid Quick Claw. That's going to be the bane of our team, this would seem. Because we got Quick Clawed Garchomp last time. Let's see Arachnoid Quick Claw. But they get the Heat Wave off in the rain. And that'll be enough to do the final point of damage to our Pelipper. Which leaves us with our Dragonite and Basculegion. Which could be enough to make them forfeit. We'll see. It will all depend on... So, yeah, we've got a turn of Tailwind and 2 turns of Rain. So we're definitely going to try and capitalize on the rain. And do we Wave Crash? Do we Last Respects? Do we need to Wave Crash? Is Last Respects not doing enough damage? If we lock into... I reckon we Last Respects. Maybe the wrong call here. But if we lock into water and something happens and the Arachnid doesn't go down, or the Arachnid goes down and then we're... Yeah, it's just better, I think, in this regard. It's 150 base power. Volcarona goes down. Not a drama. Now we're not locked into a water move against this Quick Claw and Arachnid. But, it stays on. Focus Sash. No, just hang on with 1%. Gets a big crunch off. Unfortunately, it's not enough. Our Tailwind will end. But we're 2v1 at the moment. So we'll Draco Meteor. No, we won't. We're in the rain. We'll still Hurricane. They're going to hang about and try and get their Quick Claw. I don't want to risk. Because you can definitely lose some of these battles by being a little bit overconfident. Drake or Meteor could have missed then. That would have Quick Clawed into another crunch. Lost our Basket Legion. But no. No Quick Claw. Just KO. So yeah, it was a race again, mad rush to try and get the Tailwind out, but they didn't seem to be too protective of their Whimsicott, just as I wasn't overly protective of my Pelipper. But worked out in the end. So now we're 2 up, probably maybe 2 or 3 away. So it's hard because you need to get them in that streak, and it doesn't always work out like that. But we're now up against Solaras. So let's see if it's Solari the Sun. It is not, it is Sand. Okay, so in this scenario, again, we're going to Basket Legion, Sneasler, and Pelipper. Because turn 1 Pelipper against their Sneasler's not great. Having Weather in the back's better. Then it would be what we take for the rest. And I think Meganium is going to be the rest. So again, we need everything to try and get rid of the Sneasler if they decide to bring it. And then we need to try and maintain weather. So yeah, potentially an Aerodactyl Sneasler lead here. Maybe something with Sinestra. We're both on 2 win streaks, so only one of us will come out on top. So they go straight for Orthworm and the Sand. So there's nothing really stopping us. I mean, we could just straight up close combat that T-Tar, but what's Earthworm doing? It's physically defensive, probably maybe. I'm not overly threatened by it at the moment. So let's see what the T-Tar does. Likely maybe an Iron Defense from the Orthworm to try and buff up defense and get a decent body press going. But we've got Mega Meganium in the back. They've gone full hog. Just turn 1, Mega Evolve. That allows us to do big damage. Because, yeah, Sand buffs the special defense. This will allow us to get our Pelipper in and just completely change the weather on them. And what's Orthworm going to do? T-Tar flinch. Heavy slam. Bang. Not enough. So now we try and close combat the T-Tar. They could just as easily swap something in, but we're going to Tailwind. Because what have they got? They could just as easily swap Sinistra in, but I think getting a Tailwind right now protects us for potentially what they've got in the back, which they're changing into, and it could be the Sinistra or the Garchomp. Could have also been an Aerodactyl, which allowed them to set up a Tailwind of themselves. But at least if this way, we get our close combat out, we take a bit of rough skin, we're probably going to take another heavy slam, right, from the Orthworm. But at least we get our Tailwind up, so we'll also have to scout if this is going to be a Choice Scuff Garchomp. But there's the Rock Slide, someone missed, Pelipper missed. So Sneasler still hangs on, excellent. And pretty happy with how that turned out. We should be able to Hurricane that Garchomp out of existence. So let's see what a close combat on an Earthworm does whilst we Hurricane a Garchomp. Probably could have... Oh no, Garchomp protects anyway. Fine. We could have Weatherballed then for a bit more damage because we're in the rain. But we get the close combat. Might not do a lot because it's got pretty big defense, but 70 to 8% damage is pretty significant. But this is going to allow them to try and get rid of this Sneasler, thinking that's the problem. But it's only the start of their problems. And Pelipper avoids again. Lovely. Sneasler, still alive. So yeah, a Rock Slide on an Earthworm's not doing much. It's got pretty low attack. Again, it's that huge defense. So I don't see why we just don't do that again. Except we might Weather Ball. I wasn't going to Weather Ball originally because I thought Dragon resisted water, but I thought the ground is weak to water. So we get 100 base power, we get Stab. Although Tyranitar comes back in and changes the weather, which is fine. We just throw rocks at it instead. Alright, so we'll also get to see their Sneasler come out. But it's going to eat a close combat. And we're going to see... So the question is, do we double swap here? Or do we just protect a turn? Yeah. Not big. Sneasler's down. This is fine. We just get Basculegion back in. Not a drama. We do lose our Sash, which is unfortunate. But yeah, Basculegion comes back in. Are we overly threatened? So let's flip turn the Tyranitar and then we'll swap Meganium in. Bit risky. I don't imagine why they would Diaclaw my Pelipper. They're most likely going to fake it out. So decent switch in here. Tyranitar protects, so that does block our flip turn. And then yeah, the fake out comes out. No dramas. And then yeah, now we see the flip turn. So now we are threatened by the Sneasler. We do lose Tailwind. That's fine. We are locked into the flip turn. So now so if we flip turn the Tyranitar, go back into the Pelipper. Could have also just blocked for a turn. But now the Garchomp comes back. So now we're all of a sudden fighting over the war, fighting over the weather. But we get our Pelipper in. We get the rain back. We get a flip turn. Which is enough to KO Garchomp. We do take some rough skin. That's fine. So they may likely Diaclawed the something here. They might have Diaclawed where the Pelipper is now, which was Meganium, but now we've switched to Rude. So keeping them on their toes. There's the Diaclaw. Where Meganium was, it's no longer there. It's over here. Unfortunately, we fall asleep, which is most unfortunate. Tyranitar comes back in. I'm not overly opposed by that. The issue is we're shit out of luck. Because the sleep here has absolutely ruined everything, I think. Because we get Hurricane. I don't want to risk our Basculegion right now. That's our win condition. So yeah, we'll Mega Evolve, we'll protect, likely block a Diaclaw here, which is what they were going for last time, but we did a switcheroo on them. Don't want to do that again this turn. So we'll protect, try and eat something. Yep. And then, yeah, the sleep is going to be the reason we lose. Oh, they doubled into Meganium. So they might have been expecting a switcheroo there. So there's our turn 1 of sleep, which is super annoying that we are asleep. How do we get out of this? I think we have to lose Meganium because they poison claw us. If I swap into Basculegion, Basculegion's going to go out. So maybe they'll think we'll swap this time, but Dazzling Gleam. And we're not Tailwinded, are we? We don't really need the Tailwind. I mean, we need the rain more than anything, but if they're going to double in, Yeah, they could just as easily swap out again. Yeah, I think I've kind of checked out because of that sleep. It's just absolutely put us at a massive disadvantage. Yeah, Rock Slide connects. We've got nothing but a Basque Legion left. So we were... And that's RNG mechanics. We can be absolutely dominating on the, strategic and the pivots and getting all the right places. We just needed to not be falling asleep then, and they just lucked out. So let's just commit to Last Respects, because they've got Garchomp in the back, right? And our biggest threat is the knockoff from T-Tar, so they could easily predict this and protect. I mean, we can survive a Sneasler hit, we can survive a Garchomp hit. They don't protect, so that'll pick up the KO. Sneasler can't obviously close combat here, so again, we'll see some Dire Claw RNG come out, because we can take a lot of those. But now we're poisoned. Yeah, again, RNG Dire Claw, just absolutely destroying my game. So the Earthworm comes out. We didn't see anything too extravagant from it. We saw the huge slam, heavy slam. So we'll try and get rid of that. And then, because yeah, we can eat another Dire Claw. Sneasler protects. Alright, we've got a pathway into this game. So we Last Respects into the Earthworm. We take that out. We do eat a bit of poison, and we get Vengeance for the Dire Claw RNG. Because we take a bit of sand, they take a bit of sand. We take a bit of poison. They've just protected. We're locked into Last Respects on their Sneasler. Let's go. Not how I expected this to go down. But it was certainly eventful. Bam. There you go. We even got a crit to seal the deal. So 2 win streaks go in, 1 3-win streak comes out. Good game, Solares. That was good. That was a pretty sort of steady start and then rapidly evolved into a weather war. And then got down to the absolute wire, and we clutched it out with them protecting on Sneasler and potentially overthinking a double attack or which one I would go for. But yeah, the Sneasler wasn't threatening, so if you're ever in that situation, like I could eat a few more Dire Claws, but I don't know if I could eat a Dire Claw and whatever Rock Slide stuff Orthworm was going to throw. But let's get into the next one. It's a Mega Floette, potential Mega Charizard team with a bit of Garchompy stuff in the back. I think actually it is time to maybe consider Duraludon, or we just lead with our Dragonite. No, we're going to need to threaten their Mega Floette. And we're also going to need to threaten their Charizard. They don't have any speed control, so we'll definitely take our Pelipper. And is it Meganium time? Or is it Dragonite time? Or is it neither and we take Archeludon? Yeah, we're going to be fighting over the weather. Dragon Pulse could be useful here. Yeah, if we're fighting over the weather, probably not Dragonite. They've got a couple fire. I think Archeludon's going to be a better choice here. I know not taking a Mega is highly risky, and we're 1 game from Masterball, but I feel like given what our opponents potentially have, we're both 3-win streaks. We're both probably 1 win away from Masterball. So they're leading with Charizard and Sinestra. Fair. We get the Sneasler and Basque Legion. So nothing stopping us from faking out, which has a higher priority, and Last Respecting the Or that's only going to be 50 base power. So we're going to need to flip turn out of here, I think. And we'll flip turn... We'll flip turn on the Charizard. They could just as easily protect here. And maybe they will, but they're going to go for the Mega Evolution. Righto. And yeah, probably best to protect here, right? Because you're going to be covering the Fake Out. So there's the Sun. No protect. So we just straight up get a bit of Fake Out damage. It Rage Powders. That's fine. We then Flippus Turnus into the rain. Excellent. So now we get our Pelipper out. Get rid of this Sun. So potential Air Slash here. Also potential swap out. So let's Diaclaw the Charizard and we'll set up our Tailwind. That sets us up to Hurricanes next turn while they're trying to remediate the weather to their side. But maybe they just allow it. So we've tried to Diaclaw the Charizard here. The Rage Power will redirect the Diaclaw to that. Let's see for some RNG. We get a Para. I'll take it. That's not bad. Scorching Sands. Is that some new tech for Charizards? Usually it's like Solar Beam, Heat Wave. They get a burn? Man. Fine. Fine. Now we play some extra strong Manga. So if they're Scorching Sanding us, that is quite threatening. What do we do? Are they going to Scorching Sands again? Oh, do we get... I reckon we Basket Legion and we Hurricane the Sinistra. So yeah, Sinistra's got some pretty strong defenses. We just Diaclawed and did, barely 30% of damage. So I reckon, yeah, there's the Charizard into their Basket Legion. And our Hurricane should pick up the KO here on the Sinistra, which will allow them to bring Charizard back in. And I'm fine with that. We can sacrifice our Sneasler if that's the case. So we can preserve our Pelipper. There's the Charizard. Bring back the Sun. Perfectly fine with that. Again, we're not likely going to be... Oh no, let's Last Respects. Let's Balls to the Walls. And we'll get our Sneasler back out. Because I reckon our Archeliodon in the Rain's going to be able to clutch this out. We've got Electroshock, we've got Steel, we've got huge defense. Last Respect, I mean, that's just 50 base power because no one's actually down. They've decided to go for Flip Turn. So, I mean, now we do a bit more damage. Now we're up 100 base power. We might see a Solar Beam here, which would be bad. But not wholesomely unexpected. So Garchomp comes out. There's the Solar Beam. We could have Flip Turned. That might have been better, locking the Charizard in. Because, yeah, that'll be it for Basket Legion and Sneasler. So we get our Pelipper, and I think we've lost the Weather Wars, which is unfortunate. But we should at least still get a turn. It's just a question now what we're expecting them to do. And we've still got to turn a Tailwind. So they could protect their Garchomp here. We can try and catch the Basket Legion on the switch in. But let's Weather Ball the Garchomp. And Electroshock the where the Charizard is. So there's the Charizard back. Basket Legion comes out. We'll Electro Shock that. Garchomp protects. Fine. We get our Electro Shot. So this is where we get our +1 special attack. And we likely KO the Basket Legion. Easy. We're at +1. Garchomp protected. Tailwind ends next turn. Yeah, Weather Ball into protect. Charizard comes back, and they are back in the sun. And we lose our Tailwind. So, do we have enough to get Tailwind back? Do we need it? Yeah, we have enough to get Tailwind back. They could obviously Rock Slide and Heat Wave here, and that would be bad. So let's not Hurricane. We'll try and get the Tailwind up, because I think that's our best bet for speed control. And then we'll Dragon Pulse the Garchomp. So Rock Slide comes out. It's going to do a bit of damage. And they're now fishing for flinches. I'm not sure if that's Choice Scarfed or not. I think it has to be faster than... Oh, that is big damage. Was that a crit? Yeah. All right. So yeah, we had an out then. I mean, we could have... no, we got the flinch anyway. Wow, we got RNG'd out of this game. Righto. Fair enough. That's the nature of the beast. We were putting up a hell of a fight. And then Rockside flinch and a Heat Wave crit. If that didn't crit, if that didn't flinch, we would have definitely had that wrapped up. Our Tailwind would have been out. We would have been faster. But that is the nature of the game. So we'll play a little bit more. And we'll edge ever closer. But yeah, whether the difference in SPs is now making the difference, it allows me to gauge speed a bit better. So I personally preference it. But again, it's always up to you. But we're on to our next match. What a collection of Pokemon. So we can see the Farraghaf, the Toucannon, Slowking, Incineroar. They've got King Gambit and Mega Scovillian. What do we do? What do we do? I think we lead these. Or we get Sneasler in. This is where not having speed is good. So... probably going to need Meganium. So we'll take Meganium. Do we need Rain? Do we need Dragon Pulse? Flash Cannon? Wow, this is quite a unique team to be trying to... I reckon Pelipper. Yeah, what a unique team. It's very hard when you haven't seen a team before. Team composition to kind of gauge what they're likely to lead with. Usually when, you see Whimsicott, you tend to lean towards that. But I mean, we see Incineroar, but that doesn't mean they're going to lead with Incineroar. They lead with King Gambit and Farraghaf. So we're just going to double into the Giraffe, I think. Or can we pick up the King Gambit? Diaclaw? I reckon we Diaclaw. So, okay. Okay, just to protect on the Giraffe. So, what's King Gambit going to do then? Swords Dance? Kowtow Cleave on the Basket Legion. Yeah, right. Could have close combated the King Gambit then, but again, turn 1 against a random opponent. I think you still have to attack. But that's okay. Yeah, I think Pelipper's the choice here. And what we try and do... because now they could just as easily protect. But let's Hurricane. Let's try and catch them out. They'll most likely protect on the King Gambit this turn, but they could just as easily swap it out. There's the King Gambit protect. All right, see, I don't think we've managed to navigate our way out of the opening of this match. We have been outclassed. Unless we get a Hurricane Confusion here, they'll just go straight into... Oh man, we get Confusion. 1 and 3. Hit yourself. Hit yourself, Giraffe. Nah. So, yeah, we're in a really bad position here now. So, that did a little bit. So we can Weather Ball. We can try this. We're likely going to get absolutely obliterated. So let's protect. The Giraffe will likely Psychic. Twin Beam. So there's the Kowtow Cleave. Oh, I guess the Confusion. No, Twin Beam on... Yeah, fair. And this allows us to at least Weather Ball. And get rid of the Giraffe. So we tried to roll the dice there. It was a 1 in 3 and it didn't proc either time. So, but at least now we've got a bit of a clearer path for our Sneasler, even though it's now intimidated and double speed in the Trick Room. Well, what do we see? I reckon we protect. And we get our Sneasler out. Because I think Sneasler at this point is our win condition. Funnily enough. It's going to need to be close combating us into the future. So yeah, expecting a fake out here, maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, with a fake out. Fair enough. Even get a crit on the fake out. And Kowtow Cleave into the protect. Okay. So now I'm kind of just stalling out. Yeah, 2 more turns is a bit to ask. They were just going to Kowtow Cleave me. Let's bring Sneasler in. We'll Mega Revolve. We can Weather Ball Sun. Let's Weather Ball... Yeah, let's get the King Gambit. They could see if they're an Iron Head or a Low Kick variant. So yeah, paired up against a Trick Room team happens and you need an answer for it. I'm not sure. We haven't had enough experience to be able to really find out what it's supposed to do against Trick Room. We see the parting shot onto the Meganium. We lose a bit of special attack. And we'll get to see what else they have in the back. And that'll allow us to kind of plot out how we can try and salvage this. It is a 2 cannon. But yeah, we get the Fire Weather Ball off and not enough to KO. Most unfortunate. But we are in a position to fake out now, so we can at least stop the King Gambit from doing something this turn. And it's just whether we're worried the 2 cannon is going to do something. We've got 1 turn of Rain and 1 turn of Trick Room, so I reckon we just protect a turn. Or let's Dazzling Gleam. I'm worried the 2 cannon might be able to like Big Blast us, but they've withdrawn. Out comes Incineroar. So yeah, our fake out not doing too much. There's the Big Blast I was worried about. Would have been good to fake out the 2 cannon then, but we were worried about Sucker Punches and other things. Good to know the 2 cannon is... Yeah, that's going to KO us. But hopefully the rain will stop first. Rain will stop. And no more Twisted Dimensions. So we get our Pelipper out. What do? They just brought Incineroar out, so they're threatening fake out. So if we'd have protected that turn, or rather, if we had faked out the 2 cannon that turn, but should we have been worried about the King Gambit? Not really. I think that's a turning point of misplay there. But we will double protect here to protect ourselves from the fake out. And another big blast, I guess, but they were going to protect anyway, so they're playing a bit safe. Parting shot? No, that was the fake out. So they were just going to fake out and not do anything. How odd. Anyway, we can close combat now. The Incineroar or the 2 cannon? What are we worried about? We're worried about a parting shot Incineroar, so let's see how much we can do to the Incineroar slot. If they change it to King Gambit, then he's going to have a rough ride coming in. Alright, so there's the withdrawals. So they're just kind of milking the Intimidates on our Sneasler at the moment. But we should be able to close combat first into a Choppleberry, which obviously won't do anything. And then, yeah, we get the drop. We don't get our White Herb because we used that earlier. Under Trick Room, unfortunately. It'd be super helpful now. But yeah, we do get the Weather Ball off. This might do big damage. Ooh, it does. Ooh, we may have come back from this. Back from the blink. Because all they've got left is Incineroar, who is typically pretty slow. In the rain. We could try and call the fake out here, but we've got 3 turns of rain left, so there's no need for us to get risque. We'll just double protect. I guess they would... I don't know who you would fake out here. Like, you could try and call it. I'd say likely the Pelipper, right? Because now our Sneasler's at -2. That would be my guess. They went for a Throat Chop on Pelipper. So we could have got a free hit with Sneasler then if we tried to call it. But let's just... Well, being on the safe side, we've got a fair bit of speed now. So we should be able to outspeed their Incineroar with both a Weather Ball and a Close Combat. So this should do... Oh, enough to KO. Very good. Alright, so yeah, we were in a really rough position at the start of that. Under Trick Room, they called us out early on the... we lost Basculegion very early, but we were able to maneuver around and get ourselves back into a winning position. And again, 1 win away from Ultra Ball. Let's do it. Let's get it done. That was quite a navigating minefield. Our last battle for the day is 5260. Just a bunch of numbers. But they bring Greninja, Mega Greninja, Whimsicott. So let's prepare. They've probably got Mega Meganium. They've got Old Mate Dolphin, Incineroar, and Pelipper. So a bit of a rain team. I'll think of the Dolphin's name at some point. But for now, are they going to lead Incineroar? That is the question. No, they're going to lead likely Whimsicott. Palafin. 0 to hero. Let's go. Now, is it Archeliodon? Or do we do our other trick? Because they don't have one of them. They do have weather, but it's our weather, so I'm not opposed to that weather. So another mode of this is you run like this. Nah, I think we need the Sneasler. Pelipper, Sneasler, Basculegion in the back. That gives us opportunity for our Tailwind. And then I think Meganium... Yeah, I think Meganium. Oh. Could have been another no mega fight. But let's see how this plays out. So yeah, maybe Whimsicott, Greninja lead would be pretty fast, pretty strong. Also potentially Incineroar, but yeah, Whimsicott, Incineroar. So pretty fair, what you would expect. So, question is, do we mind the Encore coming? So we get the White Herb. So we're going to be super fast on the Fake Out, but we're going to get locked in. So I think we just go full offense. We close combat their Incineroar, and we Hurricane their Whimsicott. Because if they, yeah, fine. If they, yeah, oh, they taunt. Okay, so usually it's Encore, but taunt works just the same. Our Sneasler does flinch. We do get the Hurricane off. We'll see if this is Focus Sash. 9 times out of 10, it's Focus Sash, and it is in this scenario as well. We are unburdened on the Sneasler, so we are at double speed, and we even managed to confuse Whimsicott. So, pretty chuffed about that. So the question now, I reckon we Diaclaw the Whimsicott. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I just accidentally hit B. And we are locked out of status moves. Come on, hit yourself. 1 and 3. No. So yeah, now Incineroar's speed's doubled. But our Sneasler should still be faster. So we'll pick up the KO on the Whimsicott, and we will Tailwind when our Taunt wears off. There's the Parting Shot on the Sneasler. So we could see that do a loop back around now. But we'll see what they decide to bring in. We might see the Dolphin, see Palafin, Greninja, righto. And yeah, well, that won't do a lot of damage. Or it will. Okay, that's over half his life gone. Welcome to the field, Greninja. I'm expecting Incineroar to come back out now. And we're not going to be able to protect with Pelipper. We do want to try and preserve the Sash. But they've got Meganium. Okay, I'm not quite sure what their plan is here. Because, yeah, we've still got Basculegion and Meganium in the back. We're double speed, so Diaclaw threatens big. And then, yeah, Weatherball did a ton to Greninja. I think we just stay on the offensive. Okay, so it is Mega Meganium. So unless they Greninja Water Shuriken, which doesn't do a lot of damage, there's the Water Shuriken. It'll go to Water type. Yeah, I've never seen this do a lot of damage. Cool. So yeah, now we'll get the Diaclaw off, and this will be ×4 damage, so it actually survived. I am surprised. But we RNG them with the sleep, so they might be a bit jagged about that. And then, yeah, we'll Hurricane, clean up the Greninja. We'll see the Incineroar come back in. We finally get rid of the Taunt. And they are not in a good position, unfortunately. We've dominated from the beginning. We anticipated their Taunt. So yeah, good time to get our Sneasler out of there. What do we reckon we bring in? Probably the Meganium. And then, yeah, we'll just protect for a turn. So I'm expecting maybe to see a Fake Out onto the Pelipper. Maybe not, actually. Maybe they would Fake Out the Sneasler. So probably could have attacked with the Pelipper then. Yeah. Because they're overly threatened, but not really, because... what do they got? They got a turn, a Tailwind left. So let's Weatherball Meganium and Weatherball Incineroar. And everyone gets Weatherball, and it'll be a different weather for depending who's casting it. Because, yeah, Mega Meganium will get the Fire Weatherball. Not overly threatened by Incineroar. Meganium does wake up and uses Solar Beam on our most likely Pelipper, but we'll get the Focus Sash to survive. Big damage on the Pelipper. Hangs on. And there's the Darkest Lariat. So they were doubling into the Pelipper here. But that allows us to get our Weather Ball off. No dramas. And it'll be a Fire Weather Ball, which will take out the Mega Meganium. Basculegion comes in and wave crashes the Incineroar into the ground. And that should get us into Master Ball. Even though the rain stopped, their weather's out. I mean, we can just as easily also Sneasler, but they should forfeit, maybe. We'll see if they want to play it out. So yeah, we're going to be stuck Dazzling Gleam and Fake Out. Do a bit of chip. They're having to think whether Darkest Lariat and Flare Blitz is going to take them to the end game. They're going to give it a go. I respect them for that. Dazzling Gleam, bit of chip. And now we will Dazzling Gleam and Close Combat. And that should seal the deal for this battle. And because, yeah, we got Basculegion in the back as well. So I think we navigated that pretty well. But yeah, they didn't have the switch into Greninja and just took half damage on end coming in, and then Water Shuriken didn't really, threaten too much. So good game, cool team. Unfortunately, we need to get to Master Ball, and I think that should get us there. Yay! So question is, do we get another cutscene? Is the question. No, probably not, because it's not kicked us out. So there you go. That'll wrap up. We finally made it to Master Ball in both singles and doubles. And yeah, the team does all right. Just got to know when to fold them and know when to hold them. But otherwise, if you enjoy this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I appreciate it. Until next time, take care and enjoy. And thank you very much. See ya.